This is John Rodriguez, and this is Dexter. Today's memory video is about how I got started in competitive running. It goes back to 1985 in the summer. My sisters Marty and Terry came to Houston for a whirlwind weekend. Of course, we started off with Mexican food and margaritas. It is Houston. And we had a very nice long lunch at a restaurant called Le Tour d'Argent. That restaurant is moved somewhere else, and if you know Houston, the current restaurant in that building is the Rainbow Lodge. A very pretty restaurant, long lunch, and then we had a great wine tasting with Rosemary and Frank Malone. They were wealthy real estate people in town and partners in the Rotisserie for Beef and Bird restaurant. And they had a fabulous house in one of the early on gated communities, Farnham Park. Really great. They had a wine cellar in their basement. And of course, if you know the Texas Gulf Coast, not very many people can afford to have a basement, much less a wine cellar. So they agreed that my sisters could come over, and my sisters just charmed them. And we had a couple of very special wines. I'll show you the picture here and then talk about it some more. This is the labels, Mr. Malone. They're so elegant. This is the one label. You can pause this. 1938 Ponte Canet, Bordeaux. And then we had a dessert wine, an ice wine. So if you know about German dessert wines, those are, that's a special. 1969 ice wine. And then he put a very nice message here. Thanks for the wonderful afternoon with your beautiful wines and the beautiful sisters. Very nice people. So that was just a great experience to have that opportunity to spend the afternoon with the Malones. Oh, wait a minute. This was about running, wasn't it? Dexter, what happened? We got off track. Well, part of the weekend, the whirlwind weekend, was some athletics. So Sister Terry and I played co-ed softball over at Memorial Park, and Sister Marty rode around Memorial Park using my bicycle. So I got my bike tuned up. The mechanic in the bike store, a guy named Dennis Tassel, had some pictures of himself winning his age group in an event called the Ironman Triathlon. Well, back in 1985, no internet. You kind of heard about triathlons, but not really. So I asked him some questions, and he said, well, if you want to do one, run this much a week, bike this much a week, swim this much a week. So I went from not much working out in those areas. 6 weeks later, I did a triathlon. Anybody want to guess how I did? It was terrible. It was an open water, 1,000-meter lake swim somewhere in near Sugar Land, Texas. And I was so bad, all of the people in my age group just left me behind. So that was okay. But if you know about competitive open water swims, they are not friendly. I'm paddling like a wounded duck in the lake, where the next age group, 5 minutes later, they caught me, swim on top of me, kicked me, pushed me down. I survived that. Then the next age group, 5 more minutes later, they caught me. Oh, it was awful. Finally stumbled out of the lake, got on my bike, and I'm pedaling as hard as I can to go 13, 14 miles an hour. That's not very fast. After a while, the race marshal came along. He was really nice, and he was giving me some tips about do this and do that to ride the bike faster. And I realized he was there because I was shutting down the course, dead last. But got to the transition area, got on my running sneakers, and in the 10K, so we did a 1,000-meter lake swim, 25-mile bike ride, 10K run, 6.2 miles. And in the run, I actually passed some people. So instead of dead last, there was 403 people. I was number 399 out of 403. So that's how I got started. Of course, I did a couple of other triathlons, looked at my stats and realized that swimming and biking is not my sport. I wasn't good at running yet, but that was my better of the three sports. So that's how I got started in competitive athletics. That was 1985. Next video will go forward to January 1986, my first Houston Marathon, and tell you how all that played out. And of course, that eventually got me to meet Ann Bond, who introduced me to neuromuscular therapy, which gave me a new career. and wonderful things happen. So little stories. Think about your own story. What has happened in your life that's made a big impact? So if you like the story, click like and subscribe, share it with friends, and there'll be other Dexter. We'll have other stuff along the way. So John Rodriguez, and this is Dexter Morgan, and have a great day.